Look, I'm actually really excited for this game. I mean, these are the two teams that probably surprised us the most in week one. I mean, you had Tampa coming out, supposed to be dog water. They came out, they won against the Vikings, looked solid. Then you had the Bears, who all offseason was fucking hype. They had the top pick. They traded it for supposed to be the wide receiver one. They didn't get him involved at all in the offensive for the first game. They invested heavily on the O line. That did not work out. Fields got sacked 5 times and threw a pick six. Look, the Bears looked like they did last year, did not look improved. And they invested heavily. I mean, they came into the offseason with $100 million in cap space. One of the highest teams. They invested it all on Fields.
All About the Balls podcast with Mark Davis, Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, and Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. Welcome to All About the Balls podcast. I'm Mark Davis. I'm joined alongside Chris Meinhardt, Luke Rule, no Nick the Doc Skirkowitz. I know you viewers and listeners out there are sad. I'm sad. Chris is sad. Luke's sad. But we're going to pick up the slack. We're going to bring the energy for him. He has some work things he has to take care of. So we understand work comes first sometimes. That's what pays the paycheck. Chris, how are you feeling? Did 2 episodes last night. I'm a little wore out, man. I know you're feeling probably the same, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm feeling a little tired, but hey, we knocked our episodes out last night. It was great. I'm excited to keep knocking them out, pushing them out to the viewers and listeners out here. So I'm excited.
Luke, I know you missed a lot of the fantasy episode, but you will have a chance to chime in on some fantasy tomorrow when we do college, when we do must starts, must sits. So guys that after the waiver wire now, you can kind of let people know who you're thinking, like maybe some sleepers, starters, and sitters. But how are you doing? You know, about to do week 2 preview. You kicked ass for the week 1 preview. So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I know. You gotta take some of the risky picks sometimes. You guys don't like me taking the underdogs, but some underdogs pull it off. So I got a couple more for this week too.
I had like
Here
4
we go.
underdogs last week. They just didn't pan out.
According to Vegas, I have a couple underdogs this week. I didn't think they were going to be underdogs, but there's a couple of them that I guess I snuck in there. But yeah, I'm doing great. We have some news, boys. I just start off hot. Aaron Rodgers. I know we hit on it last night, and I know if you listen to the week 1 recap, we kind of had the allegation, like allegedly he tore his Achilles. No, Aaron Rodgers officially tore his Achilles and the left tendon. So right now, Robert Saleh says the show is Zach Wilson. He is the guy. And now, do they bring in some depth? Does Zach Wilson have a short leash? I guess we'll find out down the road, boys. How confident are we? We're the team that went 7-10 last year, partly with Zach Wilson and a couple other QBs, Mike White and Joe Flacco. But how confident are we with the Jets? This is so talented team, too. All offense, all defense, and it's just a waste right now, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, Jets were getting the fucking hype all fucking offseason, bringing A-Rod in, like, this is going to be the Super Bowl caliber team. I know a bunch of us, when we did our projections, we had them going close to the Super Bowl or in the Super Bowl, and then
or winning.
Fucking have or winning, and then having your Super Bowl quarterback go out there for 4 plays and then tear his Achilles. I mean, that has to hurt for fucking Jets fans. I mean, you have to roll with Zach Wilson right now. He knows the offense. He's been there for 2 years. He knows the team. They're definitely already came out and said that they're making calls for veteran quarterbacks, but that's just for depth. I mean, I think they should call Joe Flacco Mr. Elite. Maybe he wants to come back. Who knows?
They've already called him. He won some games last year.
They already called him.
He did win some games.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it sucks to see. Like, everybody's so excited to see Aaron Rodgers play for a different team. The new look Jets, but it's big bummer losing him, especially in the first drive. Like, you didn't get to see anything out of Aaron Rodgers. But, it's good for my Dynasty League. I get the MILF Hunter in my Dynasty League. I was playing the long game with him, but long game turned into the short game, so I got a QB3 now sitting on my bench.
Long game turned into me asking Luke, can I get Zach Wilson for a trade? And I saw him throw the interception. I said, never mind, you can keep him. I remember who he was after that. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, although, by the way, too, lasted longer in preseason than he did in the regular season. So not a good look for the Jets. Not a good look. But
yeah, I mean,
I saw a thing too.
Players.
Yeah, the memes have, God, they've been pretty good. I mean, these meme guys, dude, they're out there quick too. But I saw a thing today on Get Up this morning, and RG3 was talking, and he was talented. he had a pretty. I thought he had a decent career in the beginning. You know, he went to the playoffs. Obviously, his first game,
Rookie
Chris,
of the
you remember
year.
that against the Saints. You know, electric debut, and he said it today. He said that guys like myself, Cam Newton, Carson Wentz, like Colin Kaepernick, we could ball still. Like he said, even guys have said that we can play, but we don't know the system. We don't know the playbook. So bringing a veteran in, it's just a distraction. Like, do you guys buy into that, or do you think they should call that veteran? Or like you said, Chris, Zach Wilson's been there 2 years. I mean, you might have to give him a look just for short term, at least.
No, I think guys that have been there like that, like been out of the league for like several years, are probably too far out of the league to come back at this point and be ready to like game ready. Like nobody else can be more game ready than Zach Wilson at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's the way that the Jets are going to have to roll, and it is a shame because, like Chris said, all the hype was there. Hard Knocks was there. Aaron Rodgers was involved heavy in Hard Knocks. He even played the last preseason game, something that he hasn't done in many, many years. And that's unfortunate that my Super Bowl pick is out the door now.
Right. This is the Milf Hunter redemption tour right here. This is his opportunity to win his job back, or audition for another team at least.
I mean, I don't know about auditioning for another team. I mean, even Peyton Manning didn't want to watch Zach Wilson last night on the Manning
Peyton Manning he didn't even know he was still on the team.
He was so pissed. He was so pissed when Zach Wilson came out.
I had a hard time. I wasn't watching the Manning cast. I needed to. I wasn't a fan of the guests that they had, so I kind of turned it off. But it all depends on the guests for me, really.
They had Fitzmagic.
Yeah, I wasn't really.
Yeah, Fitzmagic played on both teams.
He was wearing both his helmets.
He's played a lot of places, so I mean. But no, I was gonna say I mean, I guess we're going to see what's going to happen. I mean, I feel bad for the Garrett Wilson owners too, and the Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. I mean, now they're going to crowd the box. Now we'll see what. I mean, that touchdown was a bad throw too. So like, props for Garrett Wilson for making a highlight catch, probably the best catch of the week. But that was a horrible throw, and he brought it back like one-handed to himself. So hopefully Zach can get on the same page with these pretty talented weapons he has now.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers will still be there in the year of Zach Wilson, so it's not like he's
Zach Wilson
from the team.
He had it. He had a pretty good preseason too. So when he's game ready, it might look a little different than it did last night.
And he looked better in the fourth too. I mean, we got to also remember he got thrown into the fire. Like he got thrown to against a great Buffalo defense. Was not preparing to be playing with the ones. He was preparing to hold the clipboard and talk to Rodgers when he got back to the sideline. So he was not expected to be in that situation either. So let's see what he can do against a fucking highly stouted defense this week against the Dallas Cowboys.
It's going to be a big wake-up call again. So 2 weeks in a row, tough defenses.
Yes.
It's a rough welcome back.
I mean, the stretch for Kansas City, I think their first 5 or 6 games is against pretty tough teams. So unfortunately, it's Zach Wilson now, boys. And hopefully Robert Saleh. By the way, he looked devastated too after the game. He looked so just like defeated.
Oh,
even though they won.
The amount of work he had to do just get that deal to happen with Aaron Rodgers, like it took like almost the entire offseason just to get him over there. So like whether he's staying Green Bay, retiring, or whatever he's doing, then just the negotiation process took like 2 months just to figure out a deal with the Packers. So I mean, all that work just for fucking 4 plays really sucks.
And the Packers will officially only get a second-round pick next year. They will not get that first-rounder because Aaron Rodgers did not play 65% of the snaps this year.
One last
tough loss for Green Bay as well.
Yeah, one fuck you, Green Bay. But, yeah, that's the biggest injury, I guess. I mean, like we already mentioned J.K. Dobbins yesterday, but it was official now. Now we know what happened to Aaron Rodgers, and we'll see if he decides to make a push for it. I don't think he goes out like this. He loves the game, but he is 39, and it is a lot. Achilles tear is a lot to come back from at any age, especially the older you get. It's a mental and it's a physical tear to the body. And, I guess we'll see. I guess we have a year to find out what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Yep. But we got some more injuries too, boys. Dolchich from the Denver Broncos tight end and Deontay Johnson from the Steelers both have a hamstring injury. Both are going to miss a few weeks. So I think it's a big blow for Denver and Pittsburgh, honestly. That's Pittsburgh's 1A, 1B receiver, and that's their first tight end. So it sucks for Kenny Pickett and Russell Wilson, boys. Honestly, it does, especially the development that Kenny's having. He had a bad game, but having Deontay out there would be good for the Browns this week on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, big blow to both the offenses. I mean, Sean Payton wanted Adam Troutman from the Saints. So, I mean, he called up the Saints. They sent him the pick over. So, I mean, Sean Payton knows what the tight end room is. He loves Adam Troutman. So, not a big, huge loss there for the Broncos.
Yeah. And then another big story, I didn't realize it, I guess when we were watching the Seattle Seahawks and Rams game, both tackles went down for the Seattle Seahawks, and they just signed Jason Peters, 41-year-old. Last year, he only allowed a couple pressures, as many snaps he played. So he wasn't bad last year at 40s, but, you missed both tackles. That's going to be big. So it looks like you only replaced one. Hopefully, Abraham Lucas and Charles Cross can come back because that'd be big for Seattle and the run game, and Geno Smith too.
Yeah, huge loss for Seattle there on the line.
Especially this week. It's, they're playing, Aiden Hutchinson. So, yeah, it's a big loss against a fucking monster out there in Detroit. So, we'll see what they can do. Hopefully they keep Geno upright.
Yeah, real nervous about the Ravens injuries going into this week too. 2 starting offensive linemen out, starting running backs out. I don't know if Mark Andrews is going to play or not.
Chris, get the excuses ready, man. He's already coming for it. I can hear it.
I hear it.
Marlon Humphrey's not playing. Marcus Williams not playing. So pretty much a lot of our key players on the offense and defense sitting out. It's tough. It's going to be a tough week, but it's only the Bengals. So
it's only they only scored 3 points last week. So
yeah.
What was that stat that Chris showed us? It was Danny Dimes. It was Danny Dimes.
It was Danny Dimes, Hurts, Lamar,
Joe Burrow.
And Joe Burrow all have almost $1 billion in contracts and only 1 touchdown scored between all 4 of them.
Yeah, tough week.
And Herbert only scored 2. So yeah, if you want to throw them in there too, they combined all had 3. So
and that pushes them over $1 billion.
Yeah, that pushes them over $1 billion. But no, that's just some of the news and headlines that's come out since yesterday. Really, it's Tuesday for us. So when we get to here, it's gonna be Wednesday. You'll hear more. I think that's the main injuries that we need to focus on. Aaron Jones says he's fine, and Tyler Lockett came back in the game. So news for Seattle and Green Bay there. There's nothing to worry about. But it's time to preview week 2, boys. It's time to dive into some games. Some games we're going to talk about a little heavier. Like we said, Bengals, Ravens probably get a decent part of the talk there. I mean, understandable. You're a Burrow fan. He's a Ravens fan. But some games we might just hammer real quick. Some games it might take a few minutes extra. But just breaking down last week, we did do our straight up, but I also kept track of the against the spread. So if you guys are doing the whole against the spread, you kind of see how we're doing. Luke did lead the way in both ways. He went 11-5 straight up, and he went 9-7 against the spread. So Luke had a pretty good week. I feel against the spread's a really tough one, and honestly, it's hard to predict scores pretty much.
Yeah,
but
scores are tough.
I went 9-7 straight up. Yeah, I went 9-7 straight up, and I went 7-9 against the spread. Chris went 9-7 as well straight up, but finished 6-10 against the spread. So not a good one there. And then Doc, he went 8-8 straight up and 6-10 against the spread. So, and Doc, like I said, he's not here, but I did get his picks. I'll be able just to say it out. I don't think he has much. I wish he was here for the Bears preview, but let's start off in Philadelphia. Luke, you led the way last week, so we're gonna start off with you every game first, man. You show us the way, and we'll kind of feed off your energy. Yeah. So Thursday night, the first Amazon Prime game of the year, the Minnesota Vikings traveling to the Philadelphia Eagles. If you don't recall, the Vikings came off a 3-point loss to the Bucs at home, and the Eagles a little sluggish second half, but they did beat the Patriots in Foxborough. Remember, this was last year's week 2 game of the year, week 2 game last year, Monday Night Football, when the Vikings got destroyed. The Eagles, Luke, are 7-point favorites.
Yeah, and guess what? I'm going to stick with the 7-point favorite. I'm going to go Eagles 28-21 over the Minnesota Vikings. I think it's going to be a pretty good game. But Kirk Cousins prime time, it's not happening. Hopefully Jefferson can get some touchdowns this week. I know he had 150 receiving yards last week, no touchdowns, but it'd be really good from a fantasy team if he can get a tutty in there. But yeah, I think the Eagles are just going to pretty much control this game pretty much overall. I think a little bit back and forth up until the end, and the Eagles run away with it.
So so technically if it's 28-21, it's a push. So technically it's a tie. I guess because spread you got ties. So I mean, I might give you if it's exactly.
I got 28-24.
All right,
I'll give him a field goal.
Okay, I was just it's hard. I was fucking asking Doc like, yo, how do you do this shit? But Yeah, Luke.
I'll give him a field goal.
I want Justin Jefferson to have a bad game. I need Jordan Addison to have a better game. I might have to
No.
start him this week after the Drake London performance, but I do think that the Eagles cover the spread, but it's only 8-point game. I think they win 28-20. I do think that they're going to lose. It's prime time. It's Kirk Cousins' narrative, but I do think the Vikings are going to play a little better offense than they did last year in Philadelphia at night, and it's just going to be too much. That crowd's ruckus. It's going to be the first home game for the Eagles, Thursday night football. We're going to see Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit calling the game. So I just think that Jalen Hurts is going to come out a little better last week. I think A.J. Brown can get involved heavier. He did get some good catches, but not any touchdowns. I expect him to have a couple TDs this week. I got Eagles 28-20.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to wrap it here. All three of us Eagles. I mean, Vikings are coming off a tough loss. They didn't really lean into the high explosive offense. Tampa somehow shut them down. And it was a gut-wrenching loss for the Viking fans out there. And the Eagles, I mean, they started off hot, going 16-0 right off the bat, getting that pick six, and then kind of slowed down. I don't know if that was play calling or what on the Eagles side, but they definitely got to get in sync. They have two new coordinators, so I mean that definitely plays into it. But they went into Foxborough, and they got the dub. So I think Eagles pull this one off. I know they got a couple hits in the linebacker room with injuries, but I think Eagles still cover 30-23.
Oh,
Well, that'd be a push then.
Yeah, push, whatever.
So Doc has got 27-21 Eagles. So we are all on the Birds out of Philadelphia. So I'm excited to see this game, honestly. I want to see if Kirk and them can bounce back. That's honestly what I want to see. And honestly, I would like to see the Vikings win.
See how Hurts plays this week, too. See if we can get more and more tutty.
Yeah, especially after the payday. But next game, the Sunday night or the Sunday schedule, start with the early games. The Green Bay Packers coming off a pretty impressive win at Chicago. They are 2-point favorites as they travel to ATL, the dirty town, Atlanta, to face the Birds, the real Birds this year, the Atlanta Falcons. Luke, where are you leaning at here? The Falcons did get a two touchdown win over the Carolina Panthers last week.
Yeah, but I saw how Jordan Love played, and he just fucking torched the Chicago Bear defense. So I'm leaning towards Green Bay. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a low-scoring game this week. I think I'm going to go 17-14 Green Bay.
Oh, so cover the spread.
So,
I have.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a low score. I mean, I think it's low score. I have 24-20 Atlanta. I did say we were going to start off 2-0 and when we did our predictions, and that's where I'm sticking with. So I think that we are going to run the ball pretty heavily. Obviously, we have Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. They are both top 10 fantasy running backs after week one. So, and maybe not even run the ball. Bijan might get involved. I do expect a little bounce back game from Drake London and Kyle Pitts. I think our line is going to be a little more focused. I think Arthur Smith is going to get the boys fucking fired up for this game. I think he's going to set the tone early, maybe start to get some play action involved early on, and that's going to open the door for Desmond Ridder to be more comfortable, to trust his pass protection. I do think the defense is a little better than what the Bears faced. Jesse Bates looked phenomenal last week. Remember, Jordan Love's still an inexperienced quarterback. He's not, a rookie, but he's only in his third start. So I expect maybe some bait action like we got last week against Bryce Young. Falcons 24-20.
Oh, I'd love for Drake London to go off during this game for my dynasty team after putting up a goose egg for me. Yeah, fuck it. You can't not start him. Come on now.
I mean, in this league, we have 11 starters, so it's like you're kind of forced to at this point.
I can't.
Somebody's gonna put up some zeros for you.
Yeah, the only person that I would maybe trade him out for is Mike Evans. I mean, we'll see game time decision right there. But, I mean, both Packers and Falcons coming off huge, big division wins for them. That has to feel great. I honestly think this is going to be a battle of the double-headed monsters. You have Aaron Jones and Dillon, and you have Bijan and Algier. I think the run game is going to be lights out for both teams. I do think the Falcons are going to struggle against the Packers' elite pass rush. I mean, how we saw the Falcons O-line with pass protecting, it wasn't there. I think I see the Packers coming away with a win here, but if it comes to ball control, I think Atlanta might be able to egg it out here, but I have Green Bay covering 24-20.
I guess I am the lone survivor out here, the lone guy on the Falcons, of course. Doc chose them 22-21. He does not have Green Bay covering the spread. But, yeah, I guess like Luke said, it's all about picking underdogs, right? And I'm going to pick the home underdog here, and we'll get our dub going into Detroit, and we'll lose that game next week. But we'll start off 2-0 this year. We'll be above 500 for another consecutive week. We're fucking back, baby. That's like I said.
We're back.
Next game. I think it's my Survivor pick. Survivor this week, by the boys, is tough. No gimmies, I don't think. But the Las Vegas Raiders.
There's one gimme.
This might be it. This is my gimme. The Las Vegas Raiders coming off a good win against Denver in Mile High, traveling to a pissed-off Buffalo Bills, who are 9.5-point favorites. Luke, you start us off here. What you got?
Yeah, I think this is Josh Allen redemption game going on here. So I think he's going to try to fucking light up the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm going to go 31-17 Buffalo Bills.
We're
Bills
on the
Mafia's
same score.
back.
Yeah, we're on the same score, Luke. I expect a ass beating. I think after that loss to Zach Wilson, it's going to kind of wake them up, kick them in the teeth a little bit. Feel bad for the Las Vegas Raiders. They chose the wrong week to travel to Buffalo this year. So I got Bills, like Luke said, 31-17 covering that spread.
Yeah, no, I mean, Raiders last week, Jimmy G made some clutch throws against Denver's defense. They do need to clean up the penalties. They had 10 penalties for over 100 yards, and they have to get Josh Jacobs more involved in the run game. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry. They got to get him, if they want to win games, they got to get him involved. The Bills, I mean, they're coming off an absolute gut check against the Jets. No way they should have lost that game. The only reason the Jets were in that game was the 4 turnovers that Allen gave the Jets defense. So Allen's coming out with a chip on his shoulder. He's going to ball out for sure, and they need to win this turnover game. I have the Raiders covering, but I have the Bills winning 28-20.
And like you said, Chris, they got to get Josh Jacobs involved. Jacoby Myers might not play. He's in concussion protocol. He took a nasty hit towards the end of the game last week. So
he was throwing those gain signs up. I don't know if you saw.
He was
like Tua. He was throwing Tua signs up.
Yeah. He did.
Him and Tua were trying to talk to each other.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, though, Chris, Josh Jacobs got to get involved, and I expect it's going to be tough for Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers if he plays, but this Bills defense is pretty legit. I mean, we saw it. They were getting to Rodgers. I know it was one drive, but they were still getting to Rodgers early on, too. So I don't think Jimmy's as mobile as A-Rod to move around. So it might be a rough day for Jimmy G out there. Doc does have the Bills 30-17, so we're all on the Buffalo Bills this week. Next, this game of the week for Luke and Chris. This is going to be – I'm going to be sitting back on Sunday just watching my phone because this is the week that these two just fucking shit-talk each other. And I might even throw it to the Dynasty chat like we got like Doc and Ali started. So, but it is like Luke said. I am, dude. I'm fucking in there. I think I said last week though I meant. But anyways, the Baltimore Ravens, the beat up Baltimore Ravens, traveling, trying to come back. They did win, but it was still an ugly-ish win in my opinion. Lamar's trying to look like he's going to bounce back, but he's traveling to the jungle, to Cincinnati, to the 3.5-point favorite Cincinnati Bengals, who took, like I said, an ass beating 24-3 against the Cleveland Browns. So they have to start off with 2 division rivals. Luke, where are you leaning here with the beat up Ravens or the healthy Bengals?
Yeah, so Ravens secondary, beat up a little bit, but I don't think Joe Burrow's offensive line is even close enough to being good enough to stop our pass rush and our 2 fucking all-pro linebackers. So I think Joe Burrow's going to have a long day. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think it's going to be super close. Probably just come down to a game-winning field goal at the end. Probably from the best kicker in the NFL, though. Will kick a game-winning field goal. So I'm going to go 23-21 Ravens. Close game. Both quarterbacks score a touchdown this game.
That'd be nice for exchange.
Both quarterbacks score a touchdown at least.
Yeah, Luke, I agree with you. It's going to come down to a game-winning field goal, and I do think that both teams are going to come out with some fireworks to start off the game. Maybe it cools down a little bit throughout the game just because they know each other so well. But I do expect a bounce-back game from the Bengals.
It's going to be a feisty
it's
game.
Going to be chippy, really chippy. But I expect T. Higgins and Jamar Chase to have over 100 yards both this week. I expect Joe Burrow to have a pretty big game. I'm looking at about 275, 300 yards at least, and a couple TDs. But I'm not saying Lamar's going to have a bad game. I have 27-24 game-winning field goal by Evan McPherson. So both teams play good on offense. He's going to come down, like you said.
He's a risky kicker. He's got some misses already.
Yeah, but we'll see this week. I do think it's going to be a better game from both teams. I do think, like you said, it's going to be chippy. I'm just not sold on the Ravens right now, just because you said you have so much injuries on the secondary. And I get maybe the O-line might struggle a little bit, but they're not going to struggle all game long. So I expect a big game from the Bengals here, 27-24, walk-off field goal.
Yeah, no. I think with the Bengals, I mean, the biggest priority right here is they got to protect Joe. He did only get sacked twice, but he did get 10 quarterback hits and a lot of pressures on top of that. They got to give him time in the pocket, and he also needs to get that offense in sync. You could just tell that they didn't really know what was happening, and I think that was just his time being away from the team while he was injured with that calf sprain or whatever, high ankle sprain, whatever it was. The Ravens, I mean, big injuries, offensive line, secondary. Lamar needs to look more control in the offense, just like Joe needs to. And then Mark Andrews, is he going to be in? I know they said that he's looking good in practice. It's just going to come down to how does he actually practice this week. But I do have the Ravens covering the spread, but I have the Bengals winning 23-20.
Dang, it
Close,
looks like
close game. It's gonna be close.
all of us are within a field goal away. Doc's got same thing as me. Bengals 27-24. So we are all 3 points or
Division
less.
game.
Yeah, Luke's lone survivor on his team, just like I'm a lone survivor on my team. So he's repping the Bengals this week or the Ravens this week. You can't go against your team, right,
Yeah.
Luke?
Nope. I got the Ravens, so I like it.
How much shit talk we expecting this week or on Sunday? Is it going to be quiet?
It
Peel it out first.
It depends on if the Ravens get up big early, then it's coming in. If not, it might be a quiet chat.
Or you might just get drunk and you'll start saying some very slanderous things, like some wild like football takes, like you always do when you're wasted.
I did that during the UCF game last week. I just got fucking smashed.
It was one of those nights.
So pissed off.
Yeah, you gotta have that night.
Man, well, we'll talk about the UCF game later, but it was.
Oh, I know.
It's tough.
All right, boys. Moving on to potentially the game of the week. The Kansas City Chiefs, 3-point favorites, coming off that home loss during Banner Night against the Detroit Lions. They should be getting Travis Kelce back. I haven't heard anything really, honestly. Chris Jones just signed that contract, so maybe he'll be back. They're going to Duval County to face the Jacksonville Jaguars, coming off a 10-point win against the Indianapolis Colts. Luke, are you rocking with Duval County or are you rocking with Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I picked the Jags to win the Super Bowl, so I'm rolling with the Jags on this one. I think Kansas City traveling down to fucking Duval, that Kansas City doesn't have the weapons to get it done. Yeah, Mahomes is good. He's going to hit his receivers in the hands every time. But as we saw last week, his fucking receivers all have bricks for hands. So I don't think that gets solved in a week. So I'm going to go – I think this game's probably going to be a shootout, though, going both ways. Kansas City is getting both Travis Kelce back and Jones back. So I'm going to go Jacksonville 34, Kansas City 31. Shootout game.
Yeah, I'm interested to see this game. I don't know if I ever picked back-to-back weeks against Mr. Patrick Mahomes, but there's a first time for everything, and I am going Trevor Lawrence. He's one of my fantasy quarterbacks in one of my mini leagues that I'm in right now. Yeah, Duval County. I'm rocking the Jags. I think it's going to be a little low scoring than that, but I think high scoring, still 31-27. I just think this offense for Jacksonville is too loaded. Don't get me wrong, the Lions have a pretty good offense, but they're not to the quite caliber of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it was first week too, so the Lions might have been a little sloppy. I don't expect the Jaguars to be sloppy. Calvin Ridley's a freak. Like Chris mentioned, you got Zay Jones as a third receiver. You have Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram. You have ETN, who had a pretty good game last week. The defense didn't look too bad last week against the Colts and AR, but yeah, I expect the old Jungle Cats out there to get a win and at home. Like I said, 31-27. Give me the Jaguars.
Yeah, I mean, look, last week, hey, that loss was not on Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he was nailing these receivers in the hands, like we were saying in the review of week 1. I mean, the supporting cast needs to do way fucking better. If Kelce gets back, that's a huge win for them. Chris Jones, he signed his 1-year deal, but how much is he actually going to play? I mean, he's been away from the facility for so long. Has he been trying to stay game ready? Has he been working out? I mean, this is all questions. Is he going to be on a snap count? The Jaguars, I mean, Ridley stepped in and he looked like a fucking fantastic wide receiver 1. He looked like he was in control of that game. The Jags did let the Colts stay in the game probably way too long until pulling out late in the game. And last year, the Jags gave the Chiefs a fucking hard time in the playoffs. And I think the Jags are
They
about to
did.
do the same fucking thing. I have and this is my upset of the fucking week too. I have the Jags covering and I have them winning 33-31.
Damn. And Doc also has the Jaguars winning 30-27. I can't believe we're all picking against Patrick Mahomes.
Kansas City going home too.
Hey,
If
we
you guys
might
are
eat our
listening out
words,
there,
but hey.
if you're listening out there, bet Kansas City because we all are against Patrick Mahomes, and that's not a good thing to do. And I guarantee a lot of people are going to be against him this week. So, next game of the week, boys, we have the Los Angeles Chargers coming off that disappointing loss where Herbert kind of shit the bed the last drive, taking that bad intentional grounding. They're 3-point favorites traveling to Nashville, Luke, to your hometown right now, the Tennessee Titans, who came off that 1-point loss to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah. So ticket prices right now are sitting at $56, so not too bad. Probably won't go, but just fucking have to work the next day. So, but I think Chargers are gonna come out here and just fucking try to light up the scoreboard. I think Herbert's gonna start getting pissed off with all this talk about he can't win games. I mean, he plays well pretty much every week. It's not really always his fault he loses games, but this Chargers curse. They always just fucking lose games somehow. So I think Chargers are coming light it up. Tannehill's probably on his last straw. He's got probably a couple more weeks as the starting quarterback for Tennessee. I think Chargers come out 28-13. Chargers.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Luke. I think the Chargers are come out here with trying to make a statement. Like Chris said yesterday, keep all eyes on Austin Eckler. We're trying to see what's going on with him. But Joshua Kelly had a pretty good game last week too. So it seems like they have a pretty decent 1-2 punch out there in Los Angeles. I expect Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I don't know. The Titans' defense is a little underrated. They're not that bad, honestly. Mike Vrabel always has the boys playing hard. But I do think the Chargers win 24-17. I think Derrick Henry has a little better of a running game this week. I still don't trust Ryan Tannehill. Like I said, poor DeAndre Hopkins for going there. But like I said, give me the Bolts 24-17.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers coming off a super disappointing fucking loss after I think was a great offensive performance for them. I mean, they need to improve on the pass rush. Last week, 0 sacks and just 2 quarterback hits against Miami. That's not going to win you a game. I mean, look at the Saints with Tannehill. They were in the backfield the whole fucking game, and Tannehill was just making very poor decisions. 3 picks, should have been way more. Marshawn cut a couple off, but I think Tannehill needs to work on the turnover game, and the Titans also need to just release King Henry. I mean, Tajee Spears shouldn't be leading touches when you have Henry in the backfield. That man's a game changer. But I have a push here. I have Chargers winning 24-21 with Mike Vrabel. I mean, Titans defense is low key. I mean, they had a very good pass defense last year, and then what was it, the number 1 or 2 rush defense last year. So I mean, the defense is sneaky.
Yeah, I do think they're sneaky. It's Mike Vrabel. I think he's a good coach. Just sucks he's in Tennessee. Doc has the Chargers winning as well, 24-19. Guys, boys, we got just too many of the same picks. I get nervous when we do that. I really do. Next game, I do think it's potentially the second best game of the week. We have the Seattle Seahawks. I think are going to bounce back a little bit. They're coming off that ugly loss against the Rams at home too, which is a bad place. You don't want to lose at home. They are traveling to Detroit, Motor City. Motor City, Dan Campbell. We're going to see MCDC at home. The Detroit Lions, 6-point favorites. Luke, Lions, Seahawks. Big game out there in Detroit.
Yeah, I think this will actually be a really good game, actually. So, but I'm riding with MCDC. I think the Lions and the boys get it done. Go 2-2. I mean 2-0. So score for this game, I think it's gonna be probably mid-20s both ways. So I'm gonna go 24-21 Detroit.
Yeah, I expect the Lions to come out here, Luke, like you said, big game. This is the first time that they've sold out Ford Field for a whole season, and this is the first home game of the year for the boys out there in Detroit. Give me the Lions. I got them winning 27-23. Don't cover the spread, though. I respect the Seahawks a little bit still. I think Kenneth Walker will have a decent game with the tackle situation, so it keeps Aiden Hutchinson honest out there, so they can't just sit there and clobber Geno Smith. But give me the Lions here by 4.
Look, Detroit's coming off a huge win against the Super Bowls. I think that momentum carries over forward, especially going back home to a sold-out crowd. Dan Campbell is he's a fucking monster out there. I think this game is going to go to whoever wins in the trenches. I mean, Seattle losing 2 tackles, that's huge. Walker last game, he was averaging 5.3 yards a carry. I don't think that happens again against the Detroit line, plus losing some linemen. I mean, you do bring in a very great lineman, but he has 1 week of practice. Is he going to learn the schemes that quickly? It's up to him. And Seattle secondary, very iffy right now. They let 334 yards total for the Rams passing offense against 2 very not sad, but 2 underrated wide receivers that no one knew about until this Sunday. But I do have Detroit covering the spread 28-17.
Man, double-digit win, huh?
Double-digit win.
Tough task for those tackles too. Aiden Hutchinson's coming at him too. That's gonna be a rough day.
Yeah,
I think it's big. I think it's a big win. Big win for Detroit.
Statement from Detroit.
Yeah. And I'm not sold on fucking Seattle yet.
No. Yeah, we'll have to see. Doc's still not sold on them. He speaks so glowing of them in the offseason. But he has them going 0-2. He has the Lions winning 30-27. So we're all sweeping on the Lions here. But next game.
Y'all copy my picks.
Well, I don't know right now. I'm down 2.
That's why we got you first.
Well, I'm down 2 right now, and I'm going to make up those 2 in Atlanta and Cincinnati wins. So I'll catch back up right there. But, hey, next game is the first battle of any 2023 rookie quarterbacks. We have the Indianapolis Colts, 1-point favorites. Anthony Richardson leading the way, coming to Houston to face C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans. I thought we already said it. Both QBs played pretty phenomenal, or not phenomenal, but pretty good. Luke, where you lean at with this one?
Actually, like this one could go either way for me. I think Indianapolis probably has the more talented team overall, but I liked seeing what C.J. Stroud did. Like he played a good game, so I mean, didn't do enough to lose games. Like controlled the ball the entire game, no picks, no fumbles. He did. His offensive line struggled protecting him a little bit. I think Anthony Richardson is going to get it done. I think he played a good game last week against the Jags. So I'm going to go Indianapolis Colts 17, Houston 13.
Damn, low scoring, huh?
Yeah.
I think both QBs are going to come out. I think they're both going to play pretty good games, like you said. C.J. Stroud didn't do anything to lose in the game. He didn't do anything crazy to help them win the game, but he's a rookie. Like I said, the whole point of us talking about this in the offseason was just to see them grow and keep developing. I expect Anthony Richardson to have a better game too. I thought he had a good game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He had a rushing TD and a passing TD. Did have an interception. Needs to learn how to slide a little bit. But I have the Colts going in Houston. I think they're a more talented team. We saw Michael Pittman have 6 catches for 97 yards, something like that, and a TD. So I expect the Colts to come out here, win 27-20. Close game though. Good game though. Give me the Colts.
Yeah, like you said, Mark, I mean, battle of the 2 of the top quarterbacks drafted. This game is literally such a huge fucking toss-up, hence why Vegas only gave this a fucking 1-point spread. I mean, anybody in this game could fucking go out and win. Stroud had great success. Not great, but he had some success against the Ravens defense. I think that's great for his confidence, and I think it's going to go into this game big. They schemed up the offense amazing for him. But I have the Texans beating the Colts 24-23.
Wow, Chris is a lone survivor on the Texans. Man, the Doc has the Colts winning 21-17. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Houston defense is probably a little bit better than we give them credit for too. Like they played a solid game on defense.
Oh, I agree.
Will Anderson looked fucking amazing.
Yeah, Will Anderson. Then they got Stingley over there corner. So they got some good players in defense.
That 16-point win was a lot closer, it felt like, than what the score says. I mean, it was close for a while. It felt like the Houston Texans were never really out of it until like the fourth quarter. When it
happened in the third. We put up 15 in the third. It was coming out of the locker room. I think old Harb's got the boys hurt their feelings a little bit in the locker room.
He probably said, "Better not fucking lose to this rookie out here at home." So
Ravens don't lose the rookies.
Yeah, they didn't, but I think this could be a pretty good game. I'm gonna have Red Zone on for this one. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Unless you're Chris, he said he was gonna have the Colts Jaguars on his TV on one of his mini screens. So this might reach that 4 screens out there. So
It might.
this is the game right here where I wish Doc was in for. We have the Chicago Bears coming off an ugly loss to the Green Bay Packers. Got demolished. They are traveling to the Bay, Tampa Bay, to visit Baker Mayfield, who came off of, I thought was a pretty good win against the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, it was a 3-point win, but a lot of us had the Vikings winning. But the Bucs are 3-point favorites, Luke. Battle between Justin Fields and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and guess what? I've been on the Baker train since we started this, and Baker played a lot better game than you guys probably thought he'd play. I mean, it wasn't too bad. My first game on the road in Minnesota. It's a tough place to play. They're all doing their fucking skull things over there. But I think Baker's going to get it done again. Bears looked absolutely fucking terrible last week. I think they're going to look pretty terrible again. Tampa Bay has pretty good defense. I think they're just going to eat up fucking Fields. They're going to stop him from running. Then, Fields just can't throw the ball at all. So I think Baker's going to do enough to win the game. He's going to fucking run some cornerback over, tell him to get his fucking weight up. So I'm going to go Tampa Bay by 7. I'm going to go 28-21.
I'm giving the Bears one more chance, boys. I'm doing it. I do need both QBs to have a good game because I have Fields in my main league, our redraft league, and I have Fields and Baker in our super flex dynasty league. Unfortunately, now I have to play Baker. So, I would like a good game from this kid. Go Baker. I'm rooting for you now, guy. You better prove me wrong. But no, I expect this
9+ wins.
I don't know about that, but I expect good numbers
9+
from him. I'm
wins.
okay with
Stamp it. Keep it stamped.
Oh, it's out there. It's out there. It's there. We all heard it. Yeah. But I'm going Bears in a close game. I think that they're going to control it. I think
the Bears.
They're going to find success in the run game, set up the play action with Justin Fields, get them a little more comfortable, like we mentioned with Desmond Ridder earlier in the picks. I think Khalil Herbert, Dante Foreman, Roshan Johnson, and a little bit of Justin Fields sprinkled in there with running will set the play action, then get DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney and possibly Chase Claypool, who had no catches involved. I expect this potentially to be a game-winning field goal. It's going to be a 3-point game. I'm going Bears 23-20. I do think, though, the Bucs have the potential to win. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin looked pretty good last week towards the end of the game. They were showing that chemistry with Baker. So when you have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, it's still hard to bet against that offense. But I'm doing it this week. Give me Bears by 3.
Look, I'm actually really excited for this game. I mean, these are the two teams that probably surprised us the most in week 1. I mean, you had Tampa coming out, supposed to be dog water. They came out, they won against the Vikings, looked solid. Then you had the Bears, who all offseason was fucking hyped. They had the top pick. They traded it for supposed to be the wide receiver 1. They didn't get him involved at all in the offensive for the first game. They invested heavily on the O-line. That did not work out. Fields got sacked 5 times and threw a pick 6. Look, the Bears looked like they did last year, did not look improved, and they invested heavily. I mean, they came into the offseason with $100 million in cap space, one of the highest teams. They invested it all on Fields, and he just did not work out. Tampa, I mean, Mayfield's stat line, not nearly as impressive on how he played on Sunday. Some of the third downs he converted on his feet, some of the throws he made, he looked great out there. And I hate to fucking say that. I hate to say that. Okay? But I am not taking the Bears until Justin Fields can show me that he's not a fucking running back. I have Bucs covering. I think it's a close game, but I have Bucs going 24-20. Fuck Doc and the Bears. Green Bay's better than winning the division.
Doc has the Bears 17-14, so it's a split.
Oh.
I'm just going Bears. I have that feeling something's going to happen this week for Justin Fields and the boys out there. But next to the 4 o'clock games, the later window, we have the New York Giants coming off the worst loss of week 1, who lost 40-0 at home to the Cowboys. They're 5.5-point favorites as they're traveling out to the desert, to Arizona, to face Joshua Dobbs and the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, with this one, I think New York's going to get it figured out here. I still don't think they're going to play a great game, but I know they're fucking embarrassed from that loss. Like that was a fucking atrocious game. But Arizona Cardinals showed us like they're not a pushover team either. So they're coming out to fucking play still. They're not They're not competing for that first draft pick, right? So I think it's going to be a fairly close game, but I think New York's going to edge it out. I think it's going to be 21-17 New York.
Yeah, I have New York covering the spread. I honestly do. I think it's going to be a touchdown game. I have the Giants 27-20. I think Daniel Jones comes out and has a good game. I think Saquon has a big game. Hell, we might even see Darren Waller and some of these receivers have a pretty good game. I expect the Giants offense to be a little better. Yes, I know the Cardinals defense looked good in Washington. Weather wasn't the best neither, to be honest. So let's pump the brakes on that defense out there in Arizona. But give me the Giants by 7.
Yeah, I mean, look, I got Paige big into fucking football right now. She's on TikTok. There's apparently some girl that's teaching all the wives and spouses rules and all this bullshit of football. And hey, Paige is fucking into it. Okay, she watched the whole entire game Monday night. Today, she was like, "Is there football tonight?" And I said no, and she got fucking sad. And I was like, "Hey, I got to do these pick'ems. You want to pick them with me?" And she said, "Yeah." So I mean, most of the games she agreed with me. This is one of the games she didn't agree with me. And I told her I'd shout her out. She has the Cardinals winning. I have the Giants winning. I have the Giants covering. I think they no, I don't have the no, I do have the Giants covering. I think it's 24-13. I think it's a battle of who's worse. The Giants look fucking dog shit. Cardinals defense, low-key good. I mean, not low-key like good, but I mean, they're mediocre. They're going to win some games. I think the Giants, though, they need to use this game to fix whatever the fuck was wrong Sunday night.
So,
but Paige has the Cardinals winning.
Am I writing Cardinals or Giants?
You're writing. You can write Giants. You can use my picks, but I told her I'd shout her out.
And that was the first game she's watched fully was Monday night, like her whole life.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paige. You're the reason why Aaron Rodgers got hurt. It's because you had to bring this juju in here, and I have to blame someone, and I can't blame A-Rod anymore. I gotta find
ruin the season.
Ruin
the Jets season.
Ruin mine dynasty. But yeah. I mean we're all on the Giants. And Chris, if the Cardinals win, you're not gonna fucking hear the end of it for a little while. Just letting you know.
Hey, it is what it is. You know, I'm just glad she watches football now.
Hey, that's good, man. Yeah, shout out to that TikTok page too. That's getting the wives into football that don't normally watch games. So, yeah, shout out to her. Next game, the San Francisco 49ers come off an impressive game against the Steelers. They are 8-point favorites on the road as they travel to the Los Angeles Rams, who had a big win in Seattle. I will do a little tidbit here. Kyle Shanahan typically owns the Rams as a 49ers head coach. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah. So with this game, I obviously going to pick 49ers win this game, but I think it's been a lot closer than we thought. Maybe Chris had some strong feelings going on with the Rams, and the Rams kind of showed everybody like, hey, they're not some fucking pushover team too. So I think the game's going to be a little bit closer than we think it's going to be. I'm going to go San Fran 28, Los Angeles 21. So 7 points.
I forgot that Luke picked them to win 17 or go 17-0, so I don't know why I even asked him to pick that game. But
put my pick in for next week too.
I'll just put a little note here. But I have the Niners by 7 too, but different score. I have 31-24. Like you said, Luke, I think it's going to be a closer game. I think Stafford is shown in his past he can keep games close. He might not win the game this week, but I think it's still a good sign if you lose by 7 to the Niners, even if you're at home, which is honestly going to be a home game for the Niners. Let's just be honest. The LA teams don't have a good home support, and the Niners travel well. So it's going to be a home game for the Niners. I feel bad for Stafford and the boys, but give me the Niners by 7.
Yeah, I mean, the Niners coming off a huge win. I think the Niners were the one team that looked dominant on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. CMC and Ayuk, they nearly got fucking 300 yards combined and 2 touchdowns for that offense. I mean, those two guys put it out. The Rams, I mean, they put forth a great offensive campaign, rallying between 2 sleeping rookies and a second-round pick with Tutu and Puka. I mean, love the names just fucking by themselves. Matthew Stafford looks great, healthy. Aaron Donald looks great on the D-line. But I do have the Rams winning the spread and 49ers winning the game 27-24.
And I didn't mention Doc's game for the Giants. He had the Giants winning 24-17. Doc also has the Niners 30-21. So he has the Niners covering the spread. Moving on to The Zach Wilson New York Jets, coming off that nice win against the Buffalo Bills on 9/11. They are traveling to Dallas, to Jerry's World. They are 8.5-point underdogs. Yes, the Cowboys are 8.5-point favorites as they host the New York Jets.
Yeah, this is gonna be a tough game for the Jets. Jerry's World's gonna be fucking sold out, rocking. That stadium's huge. It's fucking loud. So I don't think Dallas is gonna be as dominant as they were last week. Hopefully their defense can pull it off. But they're my fantasy team. But I think they're gonna put a pretty good beating on the New York Jets. So I'm gonna go Dallas. Dallas 31, New York 10.
Damn, so that means they would have beaten the New York teams back-to-back weeks 71-10.
Sorry, Jets. I'd love to see Jets play well in this game, but I think they're going to be unmatched. Zach Wilson was struggling last week, and I think he's going to struggle even worse this game. He's not going to be able to throw the ball. The fucking defensive line is just going to eat him up.
I'm going to disagree with you, Luke, on the whole domination part with the Cowboys scoring 31. I think that we're discrediting a little bit of the Jets defense. The Jets defense balled out, like Chris said earlier. They forced 4 turnovers against Josh Allen, 3 by Whitehead, obviously, but then they had the fumble.
I didn't say 14 of the points would come from the defense, Cowboys defense.
Oh, okay. Makes more sense then. But no, I have the game 20-13. I think the Jets cover the spread. I think they fall under the 8.5 window. I think this defense is good enough to keep the Cowboys to under 21, 22 points, whatever. And I think that Zach Wilson and then will get a touchdown and 2 field goals. Keep it close, but Dallas still wins the game. But expect both defenses to ball out. That's what I have to say. I have the Cowboys 20-13.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets, they had a huge win Monday, but I mean, A-Rod had to sacrifice his fucking Achilles for them to win. Wilson, I'm wanting to see what he'll look like going into this game, starting, getting those 1 snaps in practice and everything. But I mean, the Cowboys defense, that's all you have to say is their defense. Phenomenal. Tony Pollard. But as long as the Cowboys don't turn this ball over 4 or 5 times like the fucking Bills did, hey, they're running away with this game. I have it 28-14. Cowboys are covering.
Yeah, Doc has a cover too, Chris. He has the Cowboys 31-19.
Yeah, we'll see if Sauce Gardner is in a sophomore slump or not. It's going against CeeDee Lamb this game too. So
all 5 throws to him got caught. So
yeah, he wasn't following Diggs either.
No, he was not the whole game though. All right, we're also going to see Trayvon Diggs or Stephon Gilmore traveling with Garrett Wilson. So both sides of the ball are going to have some pretty good QB or CB and wide receiver matchups.
Just risky QB throwing the ball. You don't know where that ball placement is going to be.
Yeah, you definitely don't. Hey, unless you get lucky like Garrett Wilson did, he saved Zach Wilson because that was an interception all over. I mean, it was to the corner. But moving on to I think it's going to be a sloppy-ish game. We have the Commanders coming off that win against the Cardinals, traveling to Mile High to face the Denver Broncos, who are 3.5-point favorites. Luke?
Yeah, I think Sean Payton's going to get his first win here. Like you said, I think it's probably still going to be a sloppy game. Russell Wilson looked decent. Like he showed flashes of his old self. I still don't think he's quite all there. So I'm going to go Denver. I'm going to go Denver 20, Commanders 17. Close game. Commanders, Sam Howell played a pretty decent game for shitty weather conditions against Arizona, but that was also playing against Arizona. So then Denver's not that good of a team either. So, but I think Sean Payton gets his first win.
I'm with you, Luke. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I think bump each team up 3 more points. I have them 23-20. This Broncos defense is legit. So are the Commanders. They're pretty good too. And like you said, Russ did look better, but you have one of the best corners out there, Pat Surtain. He's going to be going against Scary Terry and the boys out there. So I have Scary Terry in my Dynasty League, our Dynasty League. I'm a little nervous, to be honest, because Pat Surtain's probably top 2 corner in the league. He's arguably number 1, but give me the Broncos by 3.
Yeah, I'm going to have to disagree with you boys. I don't think it's going to be a sloppy game, at least for the Broncos. I think Sean Payton's going to whip these boys into shape. He's not going to fuck around. I mean, big thing with the Broncos, I mean, they would have won last game, but the kicking game Will Lutz, thankfully Sean Payton called the Saints and fucking traded for Will Lutz because he missed a field goal and an extra point. So shout out to Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis out there for picking the right kicker. If Will Lutz would have made that field goal and extra point, they would have won the game. Simple as that. They would have had more points on the scoreboard. And Mark, that is how you win games. Okay,
that's how you win football
That
games.
is how you win games.
What happened to Will Lutz? He used to be a fucking clutch, and he just kind of fell off.
He got that groin injury and took the year off, and then he came back and he was never the same.
It is harder to kick in the high altitude too than it is New Orleans. We have perfect weather, so
you're in a dome. You don't have any weather.
Yeah, so it's better with a kick from there. So I mean, I see him struggling in Denver. Like I can understand that.
He can get some more distance though in fucking Denver.
Wait, it doesn't control your accuracy though.
Yeah, Commanders. Sam Howell, he came out starting for Washington. He came through with some big plays when they needed them the most. So I do think this is going to be a close game. I don't see Sean Payton starting the season 0-2 though. So I had the Broncos winning 23-17, covering the spread. Asterisk, Page did pick the Commanders to win this game.
Oh man,
not a Sean Payton fan.
Does she not know the story between you and Sean Payton?
I try to tell her.
Well, Doc's joining Page, Chris. He's got the Commanders 19-17, a little lower scoring game. So 19-17 sloppy to me. So that's what I think he's leaning towards. Sunday night football. We have Tua, Tyreek Hill, and the offensive juggernaut of the Miami Dolphins. 2.5-point favorites on the road as they travel to New England to face Mac Jones and the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I think it's going to be – I'm definitely going to take the over on here. So I'm going to go – I think Miami's like, yeah, Belichick's going to scheme up some defense for this week, but I don't think they have enough players on defense to cover both Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I think it's going to be a higher scoring game for Miami, and I don't trust Mac Jones if I can keep up with the Miami's offense. So I'm going to go Miami 28, New England 17.
I mean, I do think that they can keep up. I have it 31-27. We saw them, well, like you said, the defense, they played good against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles coming out of the Super Bowl. They have a high electric offense too. And Bill Belichick knows how to control offenses, take away what works. Now, I'm not saying Tyreek Hill's
Eagles are trying to lose that game, though. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
At the very end, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like they're trying to lose that game.
I just think Belichick's smart on defense, and I do think this Bill O'Brien acquisition is a little better. I think New England might compete because of their defense, and the offense, I think, will score a little bit. But I have Dolphins 31-27.
Yeah, look, Miami held a fucking offensive class on Sunday. 536 yards. Hill having 215 yards of that and 2 touchdowns. Man is what he said. He is not a fucking cheetah. He is a fucking lion out there on that field. Okay, that man is just fucking on. They are faster, but what are you going to fuck with? A cheetah or a lion? I'm going against a cheetah. Okay, might not be able to outrun him, but hey, I have a better shot winning than a lion.
You ain't gonna outrun a lion either.
I ain't outrunning. Listen. Right now, I'm not outrunning a fucking turtle. Okay, but hey,
that's not good.
It is what it is. But hey, the Patriots. I mean, hey, they did hold the Eagles to bay after the Eagles put a big whooping on them. And they did have several chances to win. Mac Jones just couldn't get it going. I don't see Mac Jones winning a shootout if they have to go to a shootout. And look, this is a primetime game. I wouldn't be shocked if some weird shit happens and the Patriots come out as an upset. But I'm going to have to go with the Miami Dolphins and Vic Fangio on that defense coming through big. I have Miami winning 30-20. Double-digit win for Miami.
And Doc has a 4-point win. He's got Dolphins 24-20. So we're all on the Miami Dolphins this week. After we were all against them, which I said they were going to win last week when we all picked the Chargers. So, but moving on to the first Monday night football game, the doubleheader they got going on. This game will kick off an hour earlier, so 7:15.
Thank God.
The New Orleans Saints 3-point favorites as they travel to Charlotte. Bryce Young's first primetime game is at home at Bank of America Stadium. Luke, where are you leaning towards with this one?
So I do think Bryce Young's going to have a slightly better game than last week. I mean, he is at home crowd, under the lights. In college, he played pretty well under big stadiums under the lights. I think he plays pretty well this game, but I don't think he's been able to compete against the New Orleans defense. Not sold on New Orleans offense yet. Derek Carr still looked like he wasn't in sync with everybody yet. So it's probably going to take a few more weeks for Derek Carr to be fully in sync with his receivers. Yeah, he had some couple big plays in there, but he had some pretty shitty throws in there as well. So I think New Orleans is going to win it.
One bad
I think it's off. He had a couple ducks he threw out there too. They're just not even close to anybody.
Yeah, dude.
So I just don't think he's fully in sync yet, but I think New Orleans is going to pull this game off. I think it's going to be close. It's under the lights. Division game. I'm going to go 24-21 Saints.
Yeah, I expect the Saints defense to travel. Good defenses always travel. It's just the way it works in the league. I have the Saints 27-17. I think, like you said, Luke, this is the game where the Saints are going to – oh, you didn't say it, but you mentioned it. I think the Saints find the offensive momentum here. It starts to gel a little bit towards the end of the game. I do think outside Brian Burns and Shaq Thompson and Derek Brown, who had a pretty decent game last week. But the defense, I'm still a little questionable on. They lost J.C. Horn for a little while, so I expect Michael Thomas and Chris Olave have a pretty decent game this week. I expect the Saints to win by 10.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints defense they played phenomenal. 10 quarterback hits, 11 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, 3 sacks. They had a huge day, and I think that's going to continue on going to Carolina, going against Bryce Young. I think they're going to put him into some iffy spots, and they're going to fucking win because of that. The offense definitely needs to do more. Carr threw for over 300 yards, but only scored just 16 points. I mean, he was pressured 44.7% of the time, but hey, he came out throwing 8 out of 13 for 169 yards in those pressures. So, I mean, he knows how to control that pocket. And I think it's just time to get in sync with the wide receivers and game time, and it's going to come. Panthers, I've been preaching it these past couple episodes. They need to rely more on the run to help Bryce Young out. J.C. Horn's out on the defense. So Panthers are going to have to look over and try to win that turnover battle to even win this game. I have the Saints winning 21-13.
Yeah, and they lost the turnover battle last week by 3. They gave up 3, and the Falcons didn't give up any. But Doc has the Saints as well, 19-14. And how embarrassing would it be? Well, this would be back for Luke's take, but all 3 of us, 2-0, the Saints, Falcons, and Bucs, and then you have the only 0-2 team in the division. So that'd be pretty good for the NFC South. You got 3 2-0 teams out there, just saying. But moving on to the last Monday night game of the week, the 2.5-point favorite Cleveland Browns are on the road as they go to Acrisure Stadium, no longer Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium, as they face the Pittsburgh Steelers coming off that bad loss to the Niners. Luke, AFC North rivalry, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, this will be another fucking tough game. These two teams also play each other very hard, very, very aggressive game here. I think Pittsburgh's going to get it done at home. Tomlin's not going to lose 2 games in a row. He's one of the best coaches.
Gonna fuck your ass up.
So I think Kenny Pickett's gonna play a little bit better against Cleveland's defense this week than he did last week against 49ers. Yeah, he's gonna be under pressure this game just as well. But I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to go 24-21 Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Luke, I agree with you. I think it's going to be a hell of a battle. Like you said, these 4 teams, when they play each other in the AFC North, they just beat the shit out of each other. They are hammering each other hard. And
some injuries coming.
Yeah, I expect Nick Chubb to be heavily used. I want to see how it's going to be good. Deshaun Watson's going to be on primetime, so we get to watch him, see how he's looking out there on the road against Pittsburgh. I do, though, think that, like you said, Kenny Pickett and the offense is going to get together a little bit here. It's a tough defense still in Cleveland. Don't get me wrong. They're not going to score. They're only going to score 2 touchdowns, and they're going to score 3 field goals. And that's going to be a game-winning field goal by the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be 23-21. Sorry, Daddy Aaron, but it's Steel City time, baby. Go Pittsburgh.
Damn, Daddy A was fucking texting me today, too, about how he liked Mark, that he was a good guy.
Thanks for taking K-Makers, too.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to have to disagree with you boys then. I think the Browns defense is going to eat like they did last weekend. The Pittsburgh O-line struggle against the 49ers. They let 5 sacks on Kenny Pickett. I think that's going to roll over into this game. I think Browns defensive line is going to eat. I think Myles Garrett is going to be a game changer. and I don't see Kenny Pickett having success against the Cleveland secondary. I do think they come back. I do think they look a lot better than what they did against the 49ers, but I have the Browns winning 2013.
And Doc
Myles Garrett going to be dribbling on them?
I think Myles Garrett's going to be dribbling on him.
And Doc's with you, Chris. He's got the Browns 28-24 over the Steelers. So that is all the games, a lot of the previews we had going on. It's a big week of football. We have 4 primetime games because of 2 Monday night games, boys. I'm excited. Our teams we'll have 3 teams in the Sack House, 2-0, and then you have a team that's also in the Sack House, 0-2 potentially. So sorry, Doc, just the way it goes, man. It's your team. But I hope you all have a good weekend with some NFL. We have some college tomorrow and some fantasy to talk about. So be ready, get ready for that, and just soak in this NFL season while we can. We're already week 2. It feels like it's flying by already, honestly.
Sadly.
Yes. But shout out to Doc. We'll get him back in tomorrow. That's Chris Meinhardt. That's Luke Rule. I'm Mark Davis. This is All About the Balls podcast, and we are out. Thank you for checking out another episode of All About the Balls podcast. We want to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Sack House. You can listen to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe and give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram @the Sack House.